Guys, it's time for me to go home now, or is it the pub calling? Not sure just yet.
Dan's Kitchen Garden Allotments.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Dan's Kitchen Garden Allotment. Just before this video starts, please go along and hit that subscribe button to come along and join the family. So let's get this video started. Then you join me on a beautiful day down the allotment. Yes, I still haven't got my haircut done, but I'm down the allotment doing a few bits and pieces, and hopefully the haircut will become very soon. But this morning I come down the allotment, I've put some brand new onion sets in. I did decide to move them over to the smaller bed, and the reason why is because it would be taking up quite a big bed at the allotment, what I can use for something else. So let's just flick the camera around and show you what I've done. So then what I've done is I've placed I've got 5 rows here of red onions, all come from Wilkinson's like usual, and hopefully these are going to be autumn cropping onions. And the reason why I've decided to do the onions in this bed, and I didn't bother with the membrane, and that is because it's quite a small bed what I can stay on top of. And so what I've done is I've got 5 rows of red onions, and I've got about 50 white onions in here. So this will just be a case of topping them up and hopefully getting them through the summertime and having a good crop of onions. What I found out a few months back is you have to place red onions, especially red onions, later on in the year, because of the red onions, if you plant them too early, they just start to bolt and go all horrible and won't be. So then as I move over to where the onions were going to go, you can see I just started to burn holes. That's no problem, I'll just cover that with another little bit of weed membrane. And what I've decided to put in here is tomatoes. I'm probably going to have about 20 tomatoes plants in here with cut out and a new way of watering at the allotment. And at the end of this allotment I shall have a couple of courgette plants, and I might even put a marrow in if I've got plenty of room, so that's always good. So when I come down the other day, I thought I lost all the tadpoles out the pond. I thought the coldness killed them off, but I'm glad to say I've come down today and the tadpoles are absolutely fine, and there's bloody hundreds in there. So let's turn around and show you the tadpoles. So I'm not sure if you can see them. Hopefully you are. So hopefully we're going to have plenty of little frogs around here to take care of the slugs. So then guys, as I've said many a times, the plot 2 and plot 1 are going to have a little change around. I'm going to be moving plot 1's shed over onto plot 2 and using it as a bit of a tool shed, and the shed from the garden I'm going to bring up and put onto my allotment and make a nice little seating area. So what I'm going to do for now is basically the compost bins. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 compost bins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them on the end of this plot. If you can just see through the camera now, I've just cleared it and put some weed membrane down. And the plan will be to sieve the compost out and to sort out the compost bins today, just so they're up and running, and I've got plenty of room for composting the stuff for this year. So let's take you over to my borrowed sieve. So here I've got 1, 2 compost bins. This one's normally full with horse muck, but I've managed to empty most of that, and it's probably half filled now, so it's ready to be sieved. This was from 2 years ago, and it's just on ready now. So this is all going through the sieve, and what I'm using today is my brother's been generous enough to lend me one of his sieves he's got. It's the BMC, and I'll tell you what, all it involves is for you to spin around this like this. You get all the crap on the top, all the stones and bits and pieces you don't need, and stuff what can go back into the compost bin, and also, yeah, beautiful fresh compost to go out on the ground. So I'm going to crack on with this and I'll bring you back in a bit. So then what I thought I would do is put you on the chest mount and show you this thing working. It's fairly easy. It's not too hot today, it's not too cold, so they're not going to make you sweat too much. And as you can see, it's fairly easy to do. And there is a few clumps in it, bits of clumps like this, but all you do is you either break them down, or you do what I'm doing and just taking them over and pouring them into this wheelbarrow, and it'll go into the compost bin for another year. But this is what you're left with. Absolutely beautiful compost. This has had horse muck through it for the year. It's had all different greenery from the allotments the last 2 years. And this is just going to be brilliant for planting out any little seeds or anything at the allotment. So what I'll do to store this is, as you can probably see at the top there, I'll put another compost bin what come from here. So I'll have the good stuff into that compost bin, and the rubbish stuff will go into the bin next door to it. So I'm going to crack on with this and I'll bring you back in a bit. Here we go. Final one of this composting. So this is far better way to do it than the other way with our shake sieve. Yes, it does kill your arms, but that's giving me 4 fresh barrels of compost, and that is just ready to go back into the compost bin for another year or so. And then I'm left with beautiful compost to grow carrots in and stuff like that. So let's go and get this in the compost bin. So then guys, compost bins gone. I've given a little clean up to the area. I've done a few bits and pieces. Sorry about the shadow. You're on the chest cam at the moment. But the plan is now is to go and get a little bit of bark and just bark this over, which I'll take you down to in a minute. So eventually the shed will be going here from the garden. If you watched the last video, you will see that the shed what is coming down to the allotment, and that will be going here, and then these two will be going over onto plot 2. The reason why I've done this little caged area, as you can see, and that is because of sometimes people like to cut the corners of the allotments and knock things over and stuff like that, but it's okay for now. So what I'm going to do is get a spade, which is up here, and take you over to where the wood chip is. The wood chip is delivered to us free every single week on our allotment, and we do every now and then get a odd supply of horse muck as well, which is free. It isn't too much, it isn't too bad stuff. It does do the job and it does fill in the spaces. So I'm going to get a wheelbarrow and I'll bring you back in a second. So that's the second load we're taking up now. Camera wants to go on the screw lift. Let's just put it back to where it should be. So it's not a too long walk to my allotment from here. It's especially nice in the evenings because the heat's gone now, so it isn't doing too badly. Still get a bit of cold weather every now and then. Get very cold nights, but in the whole it isn't bad at all. As you can see, the first heap's there, and this will be the second heap, and it just keeps it tidy till I'm ready, sorted to get the new shed from the garden up to the allotment, which will hopefully be in a few weeks' time. Just makes it look all tidy. This sieve I borrowed from my brother is absolutely fantastic, and he's actually gone home now, so he might have forgotten about it and it can stay on my plot for a few weeks. Hope you don't watch this video. So that looks so much more tidier than it did before. So much. So what I'm going to do now is put all the bins back. This was the only bit of rubbish except for the watering can that come from that area, and what I'll do now is I'll bag that all up and I will take that home and either put it in the recycling bin or the general waste. So let's put all these bins in that back. So then guys, I think you'll agree that area is so much more tidier than it was before. Compost bins sorted out for plot 1. I'll take you over to plot 2 and I'll show you what I have to do there. I've got another roll of weed membrane at home and I'll bring that down, and this will be completely weed membrane right across here, and this is where plot 2 shed will be going, plot 1 shed will be going on this plot. These compost bins you see here will be all removed. I've done a slight deal with the neighbour next door to me. She has a big box, big bag of 6-in-1 multiplier feed for the ground, and she said if I give her one of those compost bins that she will give me a bag of that, which is about 20-30 quid. But this is what we've done today. One of the compost bins are gone. I had 3 over there, so I've managed to get rid of one. We've got one here what needs molting down, and the second one is just filled with fresh beautiful compost ready to go for carrots and stuff like that. So this will still be added to, as I still have got these 2 here to empty over here, and I'll do that within the next week or so and completely get this stuff ready for growing on. As you can see, the tree above me, we have got I think this is a cherry tree, a wild cherry tree, and the blossom is just falling all the time. You wouldn't believe this was laid this morning. So it's given me 2 minds or not, if to bark this or just to leave it as black plastic and I can sweep off the rest of the seeds and stuff like that, because this area has been neglected for a very long time. As you see down here, I have weed membraned it, but I've also put bark on top and I've got grass in the bark, so I don't really want to repeat that again. So what I'll do is, I think, is just leave it with black membrane all over, and if this stuff up here starts to fall again, I can just sweep it off, clear it away, and that's the job done. But that is the plan for where the new shed will go. The plot 1 shed will go, and that will be mainly for the tools. So then, that's quite a bit done today. Let's turn the camera around. So then guys, that's been an extremely busy day. Onions done, everything watered, sorted out them 2 compost bins, and sorted out a bit on this plot as well. So I have been quite busy down the allotment doing a few bits and pieces. I hope you enjoy this sort of videos. There is a lot more coming up on the channel regarding the garden and down the allotment, just to make the allotment a little bit more easy for yourself to grow on, so you can go off and do other projects like growing in the garden and stuff like that. So then guys, it's time for me to go home now, or is it the pub calling? Not sure just yet. So I hope you enjoyed that video guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're watching this video and not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and make sure the bell notification is switched on at all times to notify you when I upload a video. I also have other social medias. I have Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and them links will be in the description box below. And if you really enjoyed this video, please go along and give it a share to another page along the line somewhere. So guys, until the next video, I'll catch you later.